Never go to the past, not for happiness, not for justification, not for excuses. The world is what it is, and you are what you are. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Of all the liars in the world, sometimes the worst are our own fears. Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. Remember that what you now have was once among the things you only hoped for. You don't have to burn books to destroy a culture. Just get people to stop reading them. Don't look back. You are not going that way. Practice self-compassion. We are all human, and everyone makes mistakes. If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. Make and keep friends with the people you want to emulate, not the people you think will be most likely to accept you. The people you associate with will shape your future. Start saving your money. Don't spend it on homes you can't afford, fancy cars, and running your credit cards to the max. In the end, you'll be much happier. There are two paths you can go by, but in the long run, there's still time to change the road you're on. It's no use wasting time worrying what other people think about you. No one is thinking about you. The world is a tragedy to those who feel, but a comedy to those who think. Thinking is the hardest work there is, which is probably the reason why so few engage in it. There are only 3 events in a man's life: birth, life, and death. He is not conscious of being born. He dies in pain, and he forgets to live. Manage your mood, because if it does not obey, then it commands. In order to understand the world, one has to turn away from it on occasion. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. True love never has a happy ending, because there is no ending to true love. Life is like a book. Some chapters are sad, some are happy, but all are necessary for the full story. Take good care of your health. Without health, nothing will matter. No amount of money can bring you joy if you are suffering. Always move in your own direction, not according to society, friends, or family. What other people think of you is none of your business. It is not a lack of time. It is a lack of priority. Through discipline comes freedom. To know your enemy, you must become your enemy. Children learn by an adult's example, not by their words. Never overlook contempt. When someone views you with contempt and talks to you like you're beneath them, they will likely do you harm, whether relationally, socially, or physically. Remove that person from your life. Life is far from over, but it's very short too. If you want to do something, don't delay, but don't sacrifice what you want for what you want right now. This is your world. Shape it, or someone else will. The best thing I ever did was stop telling people what's going on in my life. Be proud of how hard you are trying. At your lowest, you realize a lot. No one is too busy. It's only a matter of priorities. Never force, don't beg, and don't chase. Learn how to change a flat tire on your vehicle. If you don't value your time, neither will others. The pain you feel today will be the strength you feel tomorrow. Don't put off important medical checkups. Time heals on almost everything. Give it time. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. If it keeps you happy, keep it quiet. If nobody helps you, do it alone. Be selfish with your time. A lot of people don't deserve it. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. If you don't ask, you don't get. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Life isn't fair, but it's still good. He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life. Never take the responsibility that does not belong to you. Have firm boundaries and be discerning about who you let into your life. Buy real estate, land, anything you can afford. The less possessions you own, the happier and less burdened you will be in life. Don't leave someone to teach them a lesson. Leave because you learned yours. When in doubt, just take the next small step. Be careful who you marry, and even more careful who you have kids with. Slow down and realize that mistakes are essential to learning anything. Get yourself together before you get any older. The older you are, the harder it is to change. No one cares, except family. Keep busy. It's the cheapest kind of medicine on this earth, and one of the best. Your friends' problems become your problems. The smaller your circle, the less you have to deal with. When you were born, you cried, and the world rejoiced. Live your life so that when you die, the world cries and you rejoice. The bad phase of your life can start at any time. Genius is 1% talent and 99% hard work. The noblest work of God is man who found it out, man. Save a little money every week or month. Nothing gives you happiness like financial buffer, believe it or not. Happiness is not something you postpone for the future. It is something you design for the present. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around, you could miss it. The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Do your best and trust the process. The harder you work, the luckier you will get. Your heart will tell you where to go. Your head will guide you there safely. Use one without the other, and you'll get lost. Throw off your worries when you throw off your clothes at night. Often the lies that are believed become the truth. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. Never give up on something you really want. It's difficult to wait, but it's more difficult to regret. You can't do big things if you are distracted by small things. Focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. A clever person solves a problem. A wise person avoids it. Most so-called failures are only temporary defeats. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Intuition is something that is ahead of accurate knowledge. One can always be kind to people about whom one cares nothing. Nothing costs so much in life as illness and ignoring an illness. Everything outside of this moment is just imagination. Your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. Stay strong, even when things begin to fall apart. Stay strong. I would rather be a swineherd understood by the swine than a poet misunderstood by men. Fear doesn't exist anywhere except in the mind. You'll never be sorry for telling someone you love them. Do it before it's too late. You can tell more about a person by what he says about others than by what others say about him. To get married means to have your rights and double your responsibilities. You will be pulled down out of jealousy. Don't get surprised. It's normal. Most of the time, you have to swallow the pain and learn to grow up by yourself. Trust wisely, not blindly. Here for a good time, not a long time. A fool is known by his speech, and a wise man by silence. One today is worth two tomorrows. Our thoughts make us what we are. Difficulty shows what men are. The life of the dead is set in the memory of the living. Never take anything personally. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality. The more you are interested in others, the more interesting they find you. Be interested to be interesting. The only time you should ever look back is to see how far you've come. Embrace stress as the opposite of apathy. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. A leader is a dealer in hope. Keep your fears to yourself, but share your courage with others. When you work for someone else, you have the right only to labor, not to the fruits of your labor. True love begins when nothing is looked for in return. Don't read a quote and say, "This is wise," but read a quote and say, "How can I relate this to my life?" Better 50% now than 100% never. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Wealth is like seawater. The more we drink, the thirstier we become, and the same is true of fame. What Paul says about Peter tells us more about Paul than about Peter. Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. The truth is, everyone is going to hurt you. You just got to find the ones worth suffering for. Be loyal or stay single. That's simple. Never say maybe if you want to say no. When you are angry, stay silent. You don't have to win every argument. Agree to disagree. At some point, you will realize no one else has a say in your life unless you let them. You are confined only by the walls you build yourself. When you work for someone else, you have the right only to labor, not to the fruits of your labor. Children make so much noise you can't think, but when they leave the house forever, the silence is maddening. Nonviolence is a weapon of the strong. No matter how thin you slice it, there will always be two sides. Anything you dream is fiction, and anything you accomplish is science. The whole history of mankind is nothing but science fiction. If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. Live every day as your last, because one of these days it will be. Only those who can afford not to lie are free. He who is to be a good ruler must have first been ruled. The greatest risk is not taking one. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Give without expecting anything in return. You need to stop the habit of doubting yourself. Waiting for change while doing nothing is like waiting for the train at a bus stop. A blind man is a poor guide until it gets dark. We have two lives, and the second begins when we realize we only have one. It's It's not your fault things are the way they are. You can't wait for inspiration. You have to go after it with a club. Remember 5 years ago, you dreamed about being where you are now. Think about it. If you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. Life will only come around once, so do whatever makes you happy. Those who are hardest to love need it the most. What one man calls God, another calls the laws of physics. Hatred is a curse that does not affect the hated. It only poisons the hater. Release a grudge as if it was poison. Never tell your friends your plans. Stop putting too much trust in them. Don't let anyone know what you're doing until it's done. Time always exposes what you truly mean to someone. Be correct with everyone, sociable with many, close to the elect, friend to the few. It is nothing to die. It is frightful not to live. If a woman is angry, it means she is not only wrong, but also she knows it. If someone is trying to bring you down, they are already below you. Time always exposes what you truly mean to someone. Even the finest sword plunged into salt water will eventually rust. Not everybody wants to be your friend, and that's okay. You really don't want everybody as a friend anyway. What we do now echoes in eternity. Do the hard jobs first. The easy jobs will take care of themselves. If you can survive your own thoughts, you can survive anything. Love your enemies, for they tell you your faults. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. Procrastination is the thief of time. Collar it. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. What we learn from history is that no one learns from history. Who dares nothing needs hope for nothing. Failure is a bruise, not a tattoo.